the sorcerer used Prestidigitation to make the barbarian's ale taste like warm horse stuff. Welcome to the Twisted Pint Tavern. Today, we're visiting r/D&D to check out the answers to DMs and players of Reddit. What are some creative uses of Prestidigitation you've seen or used? This is one of my favorite spells in 5th edition, so I'm looking forward to this one. Test a chest, wall, or door for being a mimic. Just change its color to blue. If it turned blue, it's non-living. If it didn't, it's alive, or there's an anti-magic field. Either way, shit's getting real. Distraction, obviously making a spark at the right spot could get attention. Poisons, reflavoring them should make detecting them more difficult. I like that one. Improvised thrown weapon. You always have a rock to throw as long as you can burn around to make it. In most scenarios, you'd be able to pick something up to throw or have something on your person, but I suppose you're right, you would always have at least one thing to throw. A level 1 dwarf sorcerer in the group IDM for ran into a barbarian at a pub who had it out for him, and let it be known he wasn't going to leave the bar without fighting him. When the barbarian had his back turned, the sorcerer used Prestidigitation to make the barbarian's ale taste like warm horse stuff. The barbarian turned around and chugged the ale, and then quickly ran to the bathroom to vomit his guts out. Needless to say, the sorcerer was able to leave without incident. And then there's this reply, the sorcerer used Prestidigitation to make the barbarian's ale taste like warm horse stuff. How did the sorcerer know what the taste was like? This is a train wreck. This is a catastrophe of a Reddit post. Not the most creative, but I always love the players who use Thaumaturgy and Prestidigitation to help intimidate people, making twigs snap, shaking trees, trembling the ground, etc. Thaumaturgy especially is really good for that intimidating presence, but if you're creative with Prestidigitation, you can do some cool things too. There was a jerk son of a baron we wanted to humiliate once, so I bought him a drink, specifically a pint of rum that I had Prestidigitated to look, smell, and taste like ale. Then I proposed a toast to the Baron and drank deeply of my own ale. He did the same and fell over, utterly unconscious. Yeah, but just wait till you find someone that's immune to alcohol and just keeps chugging them until you pass out first. Monks. Bloodstains on somebody's hands or weapon and then threaten to call the guards. A trinket or something valuable and drop it, cause a ruckus. A bluff truth stone, held stone to turn red when a subject is lying, I kinda like that one. Drop dirt over tracks, warm my bedrolls and towels, put a trinket wasp in someone's hair, dirty or clean to mark a trail, stays longer than 1 hour, and remove dirt from water. Those are all pretty solid uses, actually, and the dirtying or cleaning a trail to mark it longer than an hour, I didn't think about that. My team and I were waiting unattended for a king in a room with several of his magical weapons and artifacts. One of our team grabbed a sword that caused him to pass out. As the guards approached, I mage-handed the sword back to its pedestal and cast Prestidigitation to make my friend smell like booze and convince the guards he was passed out drunk. Man, talk about a save, that could have gone so poorly. Which of these so far in the video are your favorite uses of Prestidigitation? Let me know down in the comments, or let me know what your favorite is if it's not in the video. Hasn't been mentioned yet, but almost always winning drinking contests. Pretty easy when their drink tastes like piss. Yeah, I would say that makes it a little bit easier. In an Adventurers League game, we snuck up on a bandit patrol's camp. There were only 3 of us, and we figured we should try to circumvent a head-on battle because we were outnumbered. We had a cleric, an eldritch knight, and an arcane trickster. So the 3 of us snuck up in the bushes and combined our Prestidigitations and Thaumaturgy to spook the bandits by having the campfire change colors, loud noises echo through the camp, slight tremors in the ground, and the smoke to form the shape of a snake. The DM had the bandits roll wisdom checks, and they all failed and ran off scared. We were able to loot the supplies they left behind and proceed to the main lair of the Bandit King at no risk to ourselves or loss of resources. It's little things like that that I have to compliment a DM on because it's so hard as a DM to let players, oh, I use a cantrip to intimidate an entire bandit camp away. It feels a little anticlimactic, but to the player, if they pull it off, that feels really cool and creative because they're saving on a lot of other resources. So props to the DMs who are okay with letting the little things go to something like a fun or creative scenario like this. My adventurers were broke and decided to open up an instant laundering service. For a small fee, they had customers drop their dirty laundry off into small 1x1 boxes and have it instantly cleaned by the wizard's Prestidigitation. Sadly, they were closed down by the Launderers Guild for operating without a license and giving away trade secrets. Operating without a license, I mean, sure, but giving away trade secrets, come on, just because people now know how you're doing it. My player foiled a huge assassination/terrorist attack because Prestidigitation allowed her to snuff out the light on the dynamite as easily as a candle. The dynamite harmlessly fell to the ground and the assassin was very confused. First off, assassin? Dynamite? That's an interesting combo. And secondly, I don't know, because I mean, yeah, in theory you can light or snuff out something like a candle, but to me a fuse is more powerful than a candle, so I'm not sure. Distracted a pack of orcs by combining it with gusts of wind to send the wafting smell of bacon over their camp. The sentries left their post. We killed them and murdered half the camp in their sleep before we got spotted, at which point our barbarian lifted the head of the chief up and they all threw down their weapons and ran. I was DMing. I couldn't tell whether to feel annoyed or amazed. I mean, you had the orcs run after the smell of bacon. At that point, you kind of give up your I can be annoyed at this card. It's all at that point just amazed and have fun with it. Let me know in the comments if you would have run it this way in your game as well, because I don't know, I think the smell of bacon luring away like stationed guards is maybe a little far, but at the same time, again, it's letting the little things go for creativity, so I don't know. Players suddenly dumped into an Arctic environment without preparation. They find shelter and in it a box stuffed with smelly old fur winter gear. Wizard immediately casts Prestidigitation on them to freshen them up. Thus ended my plans to infect them with diseased fleas that would slowly debilitate them over their upcoming overland trek. Look, it sucks that your plans to use diseased fleas ended, it's fun to say. But the wizard did it for a reason, and even if the reason was just I don't want them to be dirty anymore, part of that comes with I don't want them to potentially have bugs and such in them. So props to the wizard. Honestly, I'm shocked we made it all the way through a Prestidigitation video without someone mentioning I shit that guy's pants. My favorite use of Prestidigitation? It's purely mundane and for flavor, but we rule that if you use your action each round to concentrate on the object you created with Prestidigitation, you can maintain it and it lasts longer than one turn. We usually use this to just summon cool looking pipes when our characters are set up around camp and smoke them, focusing on maintaining them for as long as we want them around. A runner-up would definitely be reflavoring things though. I mean, you can always buy the cheap ale in a tavern and have it taste like fine dwarven stout, and that's a hell of a savings plan. But not in my tavern, obviously. We have protections against prestidigitated ale, yeah. And with that, we're going to end today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you've not done so already, and if you're not in the Twisted Pint Tavern Discord server, what are you doing? Hop in there, grab a drink, get some food, and talk some D&D. We've got over 100 people in there right now, and it's just a fun time. So stop on by, and we'll say hello. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see all of you wonderful people in the next video. What do you mean we can't pick up the shipment? The invoice doesn't have the king's stamp on it. That's not stopped them before. Alright, fine, give me here. I'll just prestidigitate a forgery.